It's one thing to know how to play a 5, 6, or 7-stroke roll like it's an exercise, but it is a whole different thing to use it creatively in a jazz solo. So today we're going to be checking out how Lewis Hayes transforms rolls into creative jazz solo ideas so that you can start using them by using something we call slurred rolls. Let's jump straight into the first example. By the way, if you want the music for that and all the other examples in this lesson, you can grab the Lewis Hayes vocab sheet with the link in the description, okay? Now, when I first started learning this phrase really floored me, right? Right? What's so cool about it is the way those roles kind of blend and shape into each other. But when I first started learning it, there's like something about it that just kind of floored me. It really surprised me, okay? So this first roll here, it starts on the end of 3 and it ends on the end of 1, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, and 1, right? And Lewis Hayes, he plays a 7-stroke roll. So a 7-stroke roll, it's 1 accent and then 3 doubles, right? So 3 doubles, that makes 6 plus 1 accent. That's why it's a 7-stroke roll. So it's, right? And then if you play the accent on the end, right? And here he starts that on the end of 3, so it sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3. Right? That's the normal way that you would play a 7-stroke roll, you know, if you were playing it out of the Wilcoxon book or something like that. Okay, great. Now, this becomes a little more complicated when you think about this being like a triplet, like a swung eighth note, the end of 1 being like, you know, that swing feel, because then you get this notation where there's like a couple extra notes, right? And it doesn't end up all being even, right? If you were to hit that, then you have to kind of gear shift from 16th notes to triplets like this, right? So you hear that just little gear shift, 1, 2, 3. That speed change, it's kind of awkward in the middle of a roll, right? And so what Lewis Hayes does is he kind of like blends it together. It's where you kind of, this is what we call a slurred roll, where you start on the and of 3 and then you just play the number of notes until the next accent, right? And you play them all even like this. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. Right? And I'm not playing it like a 16th note. I'm not going, right? Where there's a little bit of a gap. Da, digga, digga, digga. I'm going da ba da ba 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 da ba, right? And that's really the magic of the slurred rolls. It has this really legato, kind of bendy, stretchy feeling that really lends itself well to jazz music, okay? So let's go ahead and check out the next example where Lewis Hayes takes this a little bit further. Now, this lick is fascinating to me. If I play it slow, it sounds something like this. Right? What's wild about that is how it seemingly kind of like speeds up all of a sudden at the end, okay? So Lewis Hayes here, he's playing a 11-stroke roll, okay? An 11-stroke roll is 1 accent and then 5 double strokes. So 5 times 2 makes 10 plus 1 is 11. That's how you get these stroke rolls, okay? So if you started it on beat 1, it would sound like this. All right, 11-stroke roll. Here, Mr. Lewis Hayes, he starts it on the end of 4. So it sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now you notice there, if you look at the notation on the screen, I'm ending on the end of 3 if I start that 11-stroke on the end of 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And that's usually what would happen. But in this example, he starts on the end of 4 and he ends on beat 4 of the next bar. So something happened where that's not 16th notes. It stretches out. Somehow it gets to be longer, like somewhere in between a 16th note and a triplet, right? It's not even a real rhythm. It's just this slurred roll. And what makes it even more complicated is that you have accents on the end of 2. You hear him play 1, 2, 3, 4, and da, right? And when you add that in, he kind of like rushes or he slows down the roll at the beginning and then rushes it at the end, right? So it sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's why it has a right? Now this song it's a lot faster. So you notice it a lot less at that tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? It just sounds like this blur, or rather this slur of all these notes. That's what slurred rolls are really about. And that's kind of the magic of these rolls, is it doesn't really matter what the rhythm or the subdivision is. It matters more where the accents are. So you need a way to work on these accents and just kind of slur the rolls in between so that you can use these more musically. Accents are musical. Rudiments are exercises, right? So in a second, I'm going to give you an exercise that helps you go from rudiment to music. But if you're watching this and you're like, hey, this is cool, these are some cool, complex ideas, but I get lost when I'm soloing in the form, right? I don't know how to transcribe ideas. I have no idea how you turn this on and figure this out. And I don't know enough tunes to go to a jam session. Well, yeah, totally. You need to know all those things to become a complete jazz musician. And I can't cover all of them in this video, but that is what I work on with my students at the jazz school. We work on phrasing, so you never get lost in the form. We work on transcribing, so you have tons of ideas, just like this Lewis Hayes idea, that you can make your own. And we talk about the tunes that you need to learn so you can go to a jam session, you can crush it, you'd sound really good and start getting your own gigs. Or maybe you audition for a music college and you get in. I have students that I help with that too. So if that sounds like you, that's something that you want to work on and you're really dedicated and ready to practice, there's a link in the description where you can reach out to apply for the jazz school. That's where I mentor you very closely. It's pretty strict. We reject most people, so you have to be kind of up to the right level that we're looking for. But if you want to do that, click the link in the description to apply. Now, it's fun to nerd out about slurred rolls and all the weird subdivisions that come out when we use them, but I guarantee you, Lewis Hayes was probably not thinking about all that stuff. He was making music. And the way to make music on the drums is focusing on your accents, right? The skeleton rhythms that make up the glue between the slurred rolls, okay? So the way to practice this is to think of the accents first, and then think of, what kind of roll would fit into that, and then figure out the muscle memory of slurring it, okay? So I got a couple examples of this, and these are on that Lewis Hayes vocab sheet. If you want that, again, the link is in the description, okay? So we're going to start with the skeleton rhythm. We're going to start with this one. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, again, and. Okay, those are our accents. Now we can turn it into a roll. So we want to figure out what roll do we think will fit in there the best in a 16th note context. This rhythm lends itself perfectly to a 6-stroke roll. So I can take that and fit the roll in between like this. 1, 2, ready, and. Right? Now, that's not a slurred roll. It's very square. It's not all even. If we stretch it out and make it all even, it actually comes out as just triplets in this case. So it sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So if I go a little faster, it started out like this. And then I slur it. You hear we have that accent pattern. It's still maintained, but we have this juicier slurred roll, okay? Let's check out the next example. Okay, so the next one we're going to do, it sounds something like this. 1, 2, ready, and 1, and 4, again, 2, ready, and. Okay, cool. Now we're going to add 16th notes, and we're going to add the rolls, okay? So this one lends itself really well with 16th notes to just a 5-stroke roll like this. Right? You can see that goes perfectly. Doesn't have that kind of slurry kind of quality. So now I'm going to do it in triplets. Now you can see with the triplets, it's still got that 5-stroke in the first part, but then I have this little pugada sticking in the second part. It sounds something like this. Right? So you can see it's not all rolls. I did a 5-stroke and then I did a little pugada. So if I wanted to keep it as rolls, I would have to make the 5-stroke fit in that one little beat. You can see it on the screen. And I would change it back to 16th notes like this. Right? Now, that works. That's all 5 strokes. But you hear the gear change. You hear the shift, which is not the vibe of the slurred rolls that we want. We want it to sound more even. So we can go from this, right, that speed up, to trying to make them all even. Keeping the accent, but keeping them all 5 strokes. Something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? You can hear there, it's like maybe it sped up a little bit, but it was pretty even because I just kind of slurred it all together. It's not even a real rhythm. It's just the accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? So the difference between that and the more square version, right? That's a gear change. Here's the slur. 4. All right. And at fast tempos, this works really well. All right. Let's go ahead and check out the next example. Okay. So this one, I have this rhythm. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. First step is to take the accents and I'm going to do whatever rolls I can with 16th notes. Okay. So this one goes really well with a 7-stroke and a 5-stroke, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Okay, great. Sounds like our Wilcoxon, right? Now I wanted to spread out a little bit more. I'm going to try it with triplets. This is interesting because you get like a 6-stroke thing going on, but then also a pugada. It sounds something like this. Right? Okay, that works, but it's not like a 7-stroke. It's like not real rolls. It makes it harder. It's more cognitive load. I practice my 6 strokes and 7 strokes, right? So now I can start to combine these. If I do the triplets and the 16th notes, we have, right? That's too much of a gear change. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do slurred rolls. I'm going to do a 7-stroke and then I'm going to do a 5-stroke. Sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? A little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what it sounds like. So you can hear it's a little smoother. It's a little more spread out. Now, once you get good at this, you want to take all these ideas and try to mix them in with your other vocabulary. You know, play some solo ideas and mix in the slurred rolls. That's how you play slurred rolls like Lewis Hayes. If you put that all together, it's going to sound smooth and musical. If you found this interesting, you're going to love my lesson on Greg Hutchinson and how he uses rudiments in bendy, stretchy kind of ways like this. If you want to watch that, just click here to watch.